All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Beau. He is the great Z. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, brother. It is so nice to have you back. Just reunited, and it feels so good.
It really does. What did I miss? Anything going on?
There are some things we had some fun shows. You missed Hatgate. S for a period of an hour was a known litterer and was freaking out about it, and then it was clarified that he was not, in fact, a known litterer, and now all is well. That was a real highlight on a Monday. We had a First Friday Miracle edition yesterday that was it was lovely, tremendous.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Cocktails for everybody. And I saw a couple of things because I've been absolutely attacked for the conditions outside today.
Yeah, you are. You're being besmirched.
I'm being besmirched. And what I said was that I believed for it to be the greatest march on record. That's what I said that I believed was the greatest march on record. Now, I may have also, in just the cockeyed optimism of the moment, declared that there would be no more snow.
You did.
I could have done that.
Impossible.
Just drunk on euphoria. That it was impossible. That I was just drunk on euphoria and just so excited. Yeah. It's possible that I did that, but that was a moment of temporary insanity.
Right.
Is what that was. And my spirits were simply buoyed by the idea of the amount of sunny days that we have received. And in my time off, I did see a tweet, so it must be real, saying that, in fact, this is the sunniest month on record.
Well, the sunniest March on record, yes. And I did.
Sunniest
by
March
the way,
on record.
I noted that on, I believe it was Tuesday's program. I saw the same tweet.
Good job out of you.
Even though you don't follow me, maybe we follow similar meteorologists, or at least it came across my path. So it was the sunniest March ever, not the warmest March ever. That was 2012, as we found out. But I think, which just goes to show what huge bees we are, that you correctly identified the sunniest March ever, and I correctly identified the warmest March ever. And we're not meteorologists. Right. We're not supposed to be. We're not. No. We don't write the Farmer's Almanac. That's just this is a side hustle.
Big M's.
This is a side hustle for us.
Of course.
A hobby.
Doing it for fun.
We didn't even know it was a hobby.
No, nothing.
Now look at us.
Absolutely not. Look at us, thriving. Absolutely thriving. So it was good. Hey, speaking of meteorologists. I am not one, and as you mentioned, I did not write the Farmer's Almanac, and I don't believe you did either.
No.
Today is Major League Baseball opening day.
Outrageous.
Correct?
Yeah,
you're aware of
not wrong.
Now, I'm going to give you some matchups, and you tell me if the location of the game makes sense. Okay?
Okay.
Defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers against the Colorado Rockies. Game played in Denver.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Toronto Blue Jays versus Yankees. Now, the Jays play in a dome, but I believe they're playing in their spring training to start the year. Game played in New York.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Pirates and Cubs, 30 degrees.
They've already canceled Baltimore and the Red Sox, and I got like 4 fantasy players in that. Ridiculous.
I can't believe you're playing fantasy baseball. Unbelievable. Atlanta.
Let's take a minute
did you
to make
live
fun
in
of
Atlanta?
Did I live in Atlanta? I did.
Did you live in Atlanta? You're
nickname,
familiar with the climate?
Hotlanta.
The kids call it Hotlanta.
That's right.
Let me ask you this. Is Atlanta a warmer climate than Philly?
Yes.
Again, not a meteorologist. I don't know.
No, but you are correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Would it make sense then, as I've gone over several northern matchups, to play the Diamondbacks and the Padres against each other? While we've had all these other cross-division matchups. How about this one? Is Cincinnati further from the equator than St. Louis?
I don't know that.
Feels like it is.
I don't know. Cincinnati's pretty south.
Pretty sure St. Louis is further.
It's practically in Kentucky.
It is. Next,
I don't know.
is true or false? Is Dallas further north than Kansas City?
False.
Correct. Then why in the hell are you playing in Kansas City?
Yeah, that one I nailed. Well, why are you wasting,
the only
to your
one.
point, why are you wasting San Diego and Arizona, which is Phoenix?
How'd the two colds go there?
And Tampa and Miami are playing each other.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? They're playing now. The climates aren't that dissimilar, but for example, they're playing. Seattle is playing at home against the Giants. I'm guessing San Francisco is slightly warmer than Seattle. It's not much.
Yeah.
The climate is what it is. It's negligible. But some of these are just ridiculous. Why would you have? There's already been a game canceled. 32 degrees first pitch for the Indians in about 4 minutes in Detroit.
Ridiculous.
What are we doing?
The only one that they got right.
What are we doing?
The only one they got right was, it looks to me anyway, is the White Sox from Chicago are playing in Los Angeles against the Angels. That makes sense. Good job.
That's it. Every other time where they had a choice to go to a warm weather climate, they went the opposite. They did the opposite.
Outdoor sports aren't supposed to be played in April in a great portion of the country.
No. And you don't need to. And I had somebody get on me. They said, well, what do you want, all the northern teams to just wait until the middle of April or the end of April to start? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I want. Yes. I'd rather have it be nice than be 28 degrees.
Yeah, lop a bunch of games off the schedule. You don't need 162 games. Lop some games, and then let's go from there.
Like, moving it back 3 weeks probably impacts your attendance, too. Because there's after opening day, there's like 3,000 people at probably tomorrow night's Yankee game in New York in the snow.
Oh, no, there's no question.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's the big opening day parade today. It's like 30 degrees. It'll be full. But then tomorrow there'll be 8 people there.
Yeah. I mean, you can move it
Just
back
wait.
a few weeks.
Right. Just wait.
Wouldn't kill you. Wouldn't kill you. Just use your heads on that.
Slow it down.
This isn't hard. This is not hard. One other quick thing. I'll give you one great Bootsy story that happened over the weekend.
Just so his golf attire is tremendous. He sent me this picture. He's in like 3 layers. The vest over the multicolored vest, where the shoulder area is different color than the body of the vest. I mean, he looked like he was living at Pebble Beach.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not saying that one day he won't be. So many great moments, so many victories for he and I against his 2 brothers. We dominated them in basketball, dominated them on the golf course. They're old enough now where we can play kind of a match play, he and I against them, and some good moments there. They're already better than I am by a wide margin. I mean, they always hit it straight, which is I don't, so that annoys the hell out of me. But we're one of the big revelations of the Bishop family here was we've decided that it's time to get a dog. The one has okayed it. It's dog time. We're going to have a fence out here, and so the dog can flourish and run. So I said yesterday on the way we were in the car a little guy's time, and I said, I think it would be a good idea. We got 3 boys in the house. It'd be good for mom to have another girl. So let's get a female dog. And having dogs before, I know that the temperament
it's better.
is better.
Sure.
It's better, as any dog owner mostly will attest. So I said, it'd be good to get a dog, and the 2 older boys were like, yeah, that's probably fine. That would be fine to do that. Silence for a couple of seconds, and Bootsy goes, Dad, there are 3 girls in our house. And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes,
did not.
Alexa and Siri.
Oh.
You thought he was going to his brothers.
Yeah.
He goes, no, he didn't go to his brothers. Alexa and Siri are girls. To which Beamsy, my middle son, goes, Paxton, they're computers. And he goes, what difference does it make? That's his argument. That she doesn't need. So what? What difference does it make? They have a female voice. Mom can talk to them. That's his big moment over the weekend. So it was good, though. Good to get away.
Legend.
What did I miss on the NFL front? Anything? Kind of a quiet week? I saw we got to a 17th game.
Pretty quiet. Yeah, the 17th game is officially official after 38. We've known this was coming forever. We had competing quarterback pro days, Justin Fields and Mac Jones, and we in Cleveland didn't care, which is great.
It's beautiful.
We've had some really good guests this week.
A lot of controversy around that.
A lot of controversy.
Around the Fields.
Yeah, it seems that like Orlovsky had said some things that he had heard that didn't sound very positive, and then today he tweeted out to try to give more, put names to some of the comments that he had shared about his work ethic and things. And I'm guessing you would know as well as anybody, if those are valid.
I would put my children on the comments he made on the McAfee show about Justin Fields. It wasn't his comment.
Correct.
McAfee asked, why is he falling? And Orlovsky said, this is what I'm hearing. And what he was hearing from people in pro personnel was that Justin Fields' work ethic wasn't there. And that he was, quote, the quote was something like, last one in, first one to leave.
Yep.
And I would put my children on that being 100% inaccurate. That is inaccurate, sourced
all
properly as can be. So that's not there's no truth to that. And I did see he walked some of that back today a little bit, some of those things that he heard from just other perspectives on it. I do think there's a lot to it. First of all, it's really hard to draft quarterbacks, so you're going to have a very wide array of opinion on them. The other thing that I would say that is probably a little true is that Justin Fields is a known commodity. So if you're doing a national sports talk radio show or a national television show, can you really debate Zach Wilson? Does Middle America know who he is?
Right.
Can you debate Trey Lance?
No.
They don't know who he is.
Right.
Justin Fields he was on an Amazon, the quarterback thing when he was in high school. He's been the presumptive number 2 pick in this draft for 2 years.
Yep.
He was a number 2 recruit in the country. He plays at Ohio State. You can debate him. That's what a lot of this, I think, is about, is that, more than anything else, he's an easy debate. So.
Yeah.
All right. It is good not to have to worry about those things, to your point. Those are your OBM hot topics. Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider, your Cleveland Browns, of all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Coming up next, our good buddy Dan Sag's going to join us. Browns Director of Player Personnel, talk a little bit about free agency, some of the fits, what he likes. That is coming up next. Fun little program for you here. We're doing Ask CBD today as well.
Yeah,
Pure
there's some
joy
great
on a
questions
Thursday.
already. There's some great
There
questions
are.
already.
Oh, it's going to be
Yeah.
a lot of fun. Off and running here. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers for Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO today for a free case review. Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time to head out on the hotline for a visit with our good buddy Dan Zegura, Browns Director of Player Personnel. Segs, it's been so long since I've seen you. I've been in the building in over a year, my friend. Used to see you all the time. And of course, Z back in the building gets to see you from time to time now.
It's a treat.
Which is a real treat. Before we get into what has happened and what was done in free agency and all of that, can you take me back through just the challenges of doing your job amidst this pandemic as you've done it for this long?
Sure, yeah. This year definitely presented a lot of challenges for everybody around the league, not just us. I think our college scouts did a great job adapting to everything. The changes we threw at them in the league would, kind of let us know about, and we would adjust those as we went. And then, dealing with managing a roster in the middle of a pandemic was certainly a challenge for everybody. But again, our players, our coaching staff, our amazing support staff, I think everybody just did such a good job adapting and really tried to make everybody's, transition, if you will, through this year much easier. So, and then, really going through free agency, it was nice to be able to see a couple of these guys that we actually signed this year.
Yeah.
Where last year, we really didn't get a chance to see them until July, except for virtually. So it was nice to shake some hands and see some guys in person and, welcome everybody on board here in Berea. So it was definitely a challenging year, but like I said, I think everybody in the organization just did such a great job being adaptable and pliable that, made everything much easier across the board.
And Sags, we'll focus on free agency, but before we do that, I wanted to ask you a question about, when you talked about some of the challenges of last year, and I know one of the things, often you would look through in preseason tape, who's going to be cut, how we're going to fill out our roster. What was it like not having preseason at all, knowing that, I don't even know what you guys could access to get an idea of how people were performing on other teams early in the season?
Yeah, that definitely posed some challenges for, filling holes on the roster as we had them during the year. I mean, preseason, like in the pro personnel department, preseason scouting is one of the most fun times of the year, really, because you're seeing how a lot of guys that you're familiar with in the past play. You're excited about kind of stacking them up and, having a chance to add players to your roster during the year as those holes pop open. But this year, I think we did a really good job with our college free agency process last year, and we felt very comfortable with, really using that board as our next board to help fill the roster if we needed to. And then, really went back through a lot of years of prior preseason tape. And, typically in August when we're sitting there watching all these preseason games and making a mini draft board, in a typical year, this past year, we were watching a combination of 2019 preseason, 2019 regular season, college tape from 1 year ago, 2 years ago. So really just piecing it together the best we could. And I will say the expanded rosters were great because we had more time to keep, more guys that we like here internally in the building and continue to work and develop them as the year went. So it was definitely manageable. But I think everybody's looking forward to hopefully getting some preseason tape exposure next year.
At Six, what was it like, this entire year, most of it done under pandemic? Andrew Berry, first time on the job as a general manager, has just crushed it from our view. What's this year been like with AB? What have you observed from him? What have you learned from him about the way he goes about his business? And what can you tell some of our fans about just the way that he takes on the job?
Yeah, Andrew's one of the number one, the best people you'll ever meet in this business. And he's, obviously extremely smart, extremely detail-oriented. And I think, the way he's structured things here are great because, we have a number of different people that, the brunt of all the work doesn't fall on everybody. So we have, a good mix of personnel and research that goes into every decision we make. And, watching Andrew and Kevin work together and navigate through all the challenges this year was incredible to watch. And, I think, again, that trickles down to the staff. It's all comes from top-down leadership when you're trying to stay calm and to constantly have to adjust and to, look at your phone at 5 a.m. every day and make sure you can come to work. It's a different scenario than any of us have been used to in the past. And as we all know, the yearly calendar in the NFL has been, set very standard for such a long time that, Again, as we talked about earlier, it creates plenty of challenges. But Andrew's just got such a steady hand with everything, and I think we tried to be as prepared as we can on the front end. For any situations that pop up in terms of managing the roster and situations like that. So I think it definitely helped, for those of us that were here with Andrew for a couple of years in the past, I think we kind of know, or we knew a little bit what to expect, and again could, help plan and communicate accordingly as we went. So,
all right, Zach.
Great job.
Yeah, you guys have done a tremendous job. Last year, you would say the offseason was all about upgrading the offense, and you did that, and you guys liked it so much, you said, hey, let's run it back. You're going to run it back on the offensive side of the ball, and still the potential to add some speed were things in the draft there. But clearly the focus in free agency was defense, and you added multiple guys at all three levels of the defense. In the case of linebackers, you brought back Malcolm Smith and Elijah Lee while adding Anthony Walker. But let's start, on the back end. Listen, bringing two guys from the Rams, they were the number one pass defense in the NFL last year. John Johnson III, Troy Hill. What was so intriguing about that duo, and Johnson specifically, who really feels kind of like the big fish in this free agent class?
Yeah, John, we've been watching John for a long time now, and we really liked him when he came out of Boston College a few years ago. John's like the ultimate pro as a person and as a player. He's very versatile. He can play on really like all three levels of the defense and bring you production. We feel versatility is a big piece of what we're looking for at the safety position, and John's proven to be a high-quality player with that specific versatile skill set that we're looking for, and he's done it over a number of years. So obviously very excited to add him to the room with Grant, with Ronnie, with Sheldon Redwine, who stepped up for us big last year. And then, we have a couple younger guys in the room that we like as well. So, really excited to get him in there. And again, it kind of gives us three versatile players, three really good football players, with plenty of depth behind them and different skill sets behind them as well. So we were definitely excited to add him. And then Troy, again, brings inside-outside flex. He's played a lot of football at the Rams in a really good secondary. I think he's a good communicator. He's tough. He's quick. He can cover. He can play man, and he can play zone. And, again, the name of the game in the NFL, as we all saw last year, is adaptability. And the more you can do, the better. And I think he fits all those different areas that we were looking for when we, decided to look to add another corner to the group.
Segs, let's just keep moving towards the line of scrimmage and talk a little bit about Anthony Walker. We were blown away at Darius Leonard's appreciation of Walker's game and what he meant to him. And you have an All-Pro, talking about a teammate like that. I think it says a lot. What do you see in Walker, the fit? And we were just blown away. Nathan had a chance to talk to him. We played the interview. He seemed like he was like our age.
Yeah, so mature.
Or whatever. He's just so mature the way he sounds. The way that he seems to fit. What can you tell us about Walker and led you guys to pursue him the way that you did?
Yeah, Anthony, again, I think in anybody you've ever talked to, and again, this goes back to college on Anthony, anybody you've ever talked to about Anthony Walker, sings his praises the exact same way that Darius Leonard did, I think. So to me, that's just a testament to who he is as a person. And then as a football player, the guy's been, a really good player on a really good defense there for a few years in Indianapolis. Has the ability to play a couple linebacker spots in our system, which again, goes back to the versatility piece. And then on the field, you see it live, you see it on tape. I think he's a great communicator. He's got a really good feel for route concepts in the middle of the field. He's been a productive tackler and run player. And again, just kind of, is like the perfect plug-in in our room, I think. We have some younger, talented guys that really, played well with Malcolm last year. And I think adding a guy like Anthony that, again, is very well respected and can, do multiple things at a high level for you, it was like the great, perfect opportunity for us to do it. So very excited to add him, and, really like the positions him and John play, I think are very important communication positions in the middle of the field, and having two guys that, by all accounts, are excellent there and really good football players is only going to help us get better with some of the other pieces that we have on the roster. So very excited to add Anthony to the room for sure.
All right, let's go to the front and Tack McKinley, a guy that, first-round pick started off solid start to his career in Atlanta. Really that second year where he was a full-time starter. I think he had 8 sacks that season, including the playoffs. Week 1 last year, you watch him against Seattle, and he's got 6 quarterback hits in a half and looked dominant. And then for whatever reason, injury and other things fell apart for him in Atlanta. But you talk about a talent and a guy with some burst off the edge. You got to be excited to get a hungry Tack McKinley, because when I talked to him, you could feel the hunger that he had maybe taken things for granted and realized that, hey, I can't do that anymore. But what was so appealing about Tack and having that opposite Miles now in this defense?
Yeah, again, we're really excited to add Tack, and I do think he is very hungry, as he talked to you guys about. And I think you can feel that when you talk to him. As a player, like we talk about, I'm going to steal a Ryan Grigson quote here and talk about a green tea moment where it just like wakes you up watching the tape when you put it on, because he's a hard charger, he's a really good power rusher, he can win with speed, and then he has the ability to counter back with power. And the guy he plays hard, he's fast, he can close, and he's a real physical, end opposite Miles. So, we always talk about like how you build your rush lanes and how you want to piece together your defensive line. And, to have a guy that can win with speed and power opposite Miles, I think is a huge asset to add to the defense. So, when you kind of get to him, Malik, Sheldon, Andrew Billings, Jordan Elliott, like all those guys, they all do different things well. And, hopefully we continue to piece this thing together to, try to affect some of the quarterbacks we got in our division here. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned Malik, and that's what I was going to ask you about next. I was talking with Chris Kiffin, and he said, when I think of great defensive line play, he goes back to those Jags teams that had, Dante Fowler, Ngakoue, Calais Campbell, and Malik Jackson. And he said, when you have that guy who can get there from the interior, that really changes things. And there's time he was a 9-sack guy one year in the league. Malik Jackson seems like somebody, and he talked about his press conference yesterday, I'm here to get to the quarterback, and that's a nice veteran addition, a guy who's been on winning teams and excellent defenses, and obviously familiarity with Joe Woods from Denver.
Yeah, exactly. We're fortunate we have people in the building that are very familiar with Malik and have seen what he's done through the years. And yeah, Malik's another guy that's always jumped off the tape as you play so much sub defense in this league, and he is a guy that's been consistently productive as an interior pass rusher. And, does have some outside flex as well. So, again, like any way you can affect the passer is great. But, in the league, it comes down to using your resources and how you can, again, piece together your rush. And, adding another vet that knows what he's doing, that can, win with some savvy, win with some power, and has been consistently productive. For us, we were, again, really excited to add him to the group and, start to build this D-line into, what we hope is a really good one going forward.
All right, Zags, I want to leave you with this, and we very much appreciate your time, but we get questions about 2 guys that are currently on the roster a lot. And you mentioned what you did in the undrafted free agent world last year. So A.J. Green, the young corner, is one of those guys. What you kind of are envisioning his trajectory in year 2. And then the other, speaking of the D-line, is Curtis Weaver, who's taken on almost a mythical proportion among our fan base at this point. And I know people have said he's really remade his body. He's healthy. He was incredibly productive in college. So what can you tell us about those 2 guys?
Sure. Yeah, I'll start with AJ. AJ had a great year on our practice squad, and when he did have opportunities to step up and play on Sundays, I think he did a nice job. AJ was a guy that we really liked in the process. He went undrafted, and we were fired up to add him. We're always looking for corners with length and with instincts, and that we think can succeed in zone and man at this level. And I think AJ definitely brings that skill set. I think he's a guy again that we're really looking forward to hopefully seeing here this offseason and through training camp continue to progress and give us meaningful snaps on the outside here at some point. So very excited about him. We were all really excited to add him last year. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in year 2, because that's a tough position to come in and play right away as a rookie. So
sure.
As far as Curtis Weaver, again, another player we really liked in the draft last year, and we were able to, add him when we did at the end of last summer. And yeah, Curtis's calling card in college he was a really good pass rusher, and he's got a very unique skill set. I think he's a really instinctive pass rusher. Like when you're watching a college rusher, he was a guy that could win with quickness and with his hands, where a lot of guys, at that level, just when you see guys with such high sack numbers and different ways to produce. A lot of them, really just do it because they're more physically talented than everybody. Curtis, I think, has like a combination of a really good athletic skill set, but also, just a great pass rush feel, and that's something that definitely jumped off the tape on his college tape for us. So excited to see what he can do. He was around, with us majority of the fall last year, and I think he's had a good chance to learn, and we're really excited to see what he looks like on the field coming back. So I like to hear that he's reached mythical status. That's good to hear. So
he certainly
hopefully,
has.
Well, hopefully we can, continue to work with him and get him better and get him out there. So looking forward to it.
Segs, you're the best, man.
Yes.
Appreciate your time today.
Yep, no problem, guys. Good to hopefully see you guys soon. I walk by and see Nathan in the glass bubble every other day, but hopefully I'll get a chance to see you guys in person soon.
Very good. The great
Right.
Dan Segedy. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Yes.
Our Director of Player Personnel. A lot of good stuff there, kids,
Yeah.
for you to pay attention to on that front. Coming up next, the NFL Competition Committee with some interesting recommendations, some long overdue, some, frankly, quite out there. We'll get to it coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily on a Thursday edition. Beau Bishop here for my great friends at Weather Seal Home Services. Do you need a roof replacement? Would you like to replace your roof for the last time? Pretty simple questions, right, guys? That's the benefit of choosing a metal roof from Weather Seal. Metal roof technology, materials, styles, and colors have improved significantly. They are beautiful, nearly indestructible, and with Weather Seal, affordable. Plus, with a new metal roof, Weather Seal includes 6-inch gutter upgrade and up to 7 years, 0-interest financing. That's right, guys, 7 years, 0-interest financing. Call my guys, 877-351-SEAL, or visit weathersealhomeservices.com. So this is the time of the year where the NFL Competition Committee has makes recommendations, and then later this month the owners will meet to determine if any of these actually become rules. All proposals must be approved by 75% of the owners to be adopted. NFL clubs will consider and vote on the following competition committee and club-submitted proposals. So there's a lot to this, but Gibby highlights some interesting ones. And right off the top is one of the more fascinating ones to me. This is by the Chiefs, and it would loosen the restrictions on jersey numbers. So part of the proposal would allow running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, fullbacks, linebackers, and defensive backs to wear single-digit uniforms. Now, this is something that I never have understood it. I've never understood it. They forced the hand of the wide receivers about 20 years ago because they ran out of 80s, right?
Right.
Every team didn't have enough 80s, so they had to open up the teens for receivers to be able to wear numbers in the teens. I don't know what the holdup on this is anyway. I don't know why you would restrict it to those positions. Like, why couldn't Myles Garrett, if he wanted to wear 8, why couldn't he? If he wanted to. What's the problem with that? What would be the holdup here? What would be the pushback?
I don't know. I know players would love it.
Yeah.
Love it. You got corners wearing number 2. You got all kinds of stuff going on. So, yeah, I think people would absolutely love it. I think it would be tremendous. And I think everybody would be a fan of that. I just see no reason why not. None of it makes zero sense to me why you wouldn't do this. So, yeah, do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Who is the one player on our team who doesn't currently wear a single digit who you think would look cool in one?
See, I love when the pass rushers have them. But I don't know if linebacker, are they counting outside linebackers? If you're a stand-up outside linebacker, does that count? Do you have to, if you're a defensive end, does that count? Does that get you in? How do you get into this? How do you get to qualify? I think it would be great to see, OBJ's set at 13, but I just think it's going to be guys
at LSU,
right? To see him back in a 3 like that, to see I love for corners number 2, just because I think of Prime at Florida State, so I'd love to see one of our corners in a 2. 21's also a great number for corner, but yeah, to see somebody in a 2 would be sweet.
Dude.
I love all that.
Delpit in 7.
Delpit in 7, of course. Go back to what he did
Sorry,
at LSU.
Hammer, but I mean,
give me Jarvis in a number 1. I'll take him in a number 1. It'd be great to see Jarvis in a number 1.
I think Jarvis wore 80.
He did in
LSU.
college. He did. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Then he was 14 with the Dolphins. Is that how? And then of course can't wear that here, but. I believe he was 14 with the Dolphins, so that's it a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of it's just a simple thing, and there were obviously years ago they set in as part these rules if you had to wear certain numbers at certain positions, and it seems archaic to me. I don't know what difference it would make for a player. I suppose the counter to it be, you think about all the linebackers, iconic linebackers in the 50s, there's all those great 50s numbers. But I do think that those numbers wouldn't be entirely abandoned. You still see guys in college, even high-profile guys, wearing traditional numbers. You see it all the time, to the point Jarvis was a 5-star. He wore 80 at LSU.
Yep.
He probably could have wore a single digit if he wanted to. He chose to wear 80. So I don't know if it'd be quite as rampant as you think. I do think it would be a race to get those single digits. And punters and kickers would have – the other thing they'd have to do is punters and kickers would have to go to, another realm of numbers.
Put them in the gross ones. Your kicker should be
well, they do in college.
Right.
In college, they put them in the 90s, or they put them in the
a 37,
the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
46.
Put them in those numbers.
A 46.
That's right. 46.
Who wants to be a 46?
Right.
Nobody.
Right. Those are tough. 46, 47, 48, 49 are all dicey. Those are dicey numbers. You don't see those very often.
No.
That doesn't work very often. But no, I think that would be a pretty. That to me seems like a simple fix. I don't know what would be the pushback on that to not do single digits. I know Deion Sanders tried probably, and it fits his brand pretty well. Tried harder than anybody. Petitioned the league, brought it to their attention over and over to wear number 2. Wore number 2 in practice. Like he tried as hard as you could try to wear a number. I also know this about Deion firsthand, that over the years, Florida State, especially when they're at their peak, would ask him for his permission to issue number 2, and that it was something of a, hey, this guy will come here if we can give him number 2, because it's a big deal for a 5-star recruit at corner to wear number 2. It's kind of a corner number to your point, and I think because of Deion. And Deion says no. He said, they've asked him several times. He always goes, no, it stays retired. Nobody wears it, which is just
so him.
So on brand.
Good for him.
Yeah. Stick to it. Yeah, that's it. There'd be a lot of 2s. I think 2 would be 2s and 2 and 1 would be
2 and 1.
awfully.
7. I think you'd see some 7s.
7's great. Yep. I mean, let's be honest. All the singles look good on.
They just look
on those
good.
Skill position guys.
I like it too, though. Like I said, on like the edge rushers.
Yeah.
Like what did Clowney wear in college? Was he 99?
I know. I'm pretty sure. No. No.
Was he 1?
I don't think so.
I know Jordan Elliott wore 1 at Missouri.
Here's what I'll tell you. This is the best example of what you're going for right now. When Chase Young got to Ohio State, they gave him 2. So you don't give a defensive end 2 unless he can play, because that is, if you give a DN 2, then basically you're saying all the receivers and running backs that want to wear 2 and corners, no.
Can't.
He's getting 2. So you knew Chase Young, as if just seeing him in person wasn't enough. You knew when he arrived on campus and they issued him 2 that he was going to be a deal breaker.
Clowney was 7. I knew he was a single digit. Clowney was 7 in college.
Miles wore 8, didn't he? Didn't he wear 8? 8 or 15?
15 feels right to me. 15 is, I think, 100% right. That's what I remember him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are good ones. But I like seeing those guys in that. I love seeing linebackers. Like the guys that jumped in my head is the LeVar Arrington at Penn State when they were like 11.
Yeah.
And I think Micah Parsons wore 11 for Penn State this year. I always think that's cool when you see.
I hope they do it. Like I really hope. I hope they do it. And you're right. Get the kickers and punters don't even have a say. You just, here's what jersey you get. I would like.
Yeah. Sorry, with all due respect, we love those guys.
Love them. They're some of our favorites. The Hammer's great. But 7.
Fantastic.
7. If let's say
7 on Delpit.
But what 7 on Delpit, or let's say Clowney ends up coming here and we call him an outside linebacker and he's back wearing 7 like he did in college. I mean, that would be awesome.
Well, I would, in that scenario, while that is awesome, I prefer Delpit because I feel like he'll be here longer.
Sure.
Like he would be our guy, and you could really invest in a number 7. Which would be a really wonderful thing. All right, next thing. Eliminate overtime for all preseason games. Yeah.
Yep.
Believe further discussions on all proposed changes to rules and bylaws will take place later this month. I mean, that's done, right? There's no point.
Correct.
I don't know why you'd have that in there anyway. That seems like a no-brainer. Here's another one: to permit the replay officials and designated members of the officiating department to provide certain objective information to the on-field officials. Is this back to the eye in the sky thing?
Yes, and of course it needs to happen. Do it already. Make it happen.
The objective is pretty simple, I would think, if you're in those position, get it right.
Get it right.
Get it right. And I think one of the real look, this league gets so much right. They get so much right. But one of the things that has gone the wrong way in the last decade or so is the way the game is officiated.
Yes.
Both the length it takes to determine a replay, the amount of replays are just crazy. The clock stoppages for replay, the idea that we still have to have an official walk all the way to the side of the field. What are we doing? There's got to be technology. Put it in his hand.
Yes.
Why is he having to go under the hood? Like right now, solve it. Be on it. And this is all kind of in that same realm, the idea of what's a catch and what's not. Like
Yep.
those things have been really, if you're looking for what the league's gotten wrong on the field in the last decade, that's it.
Yeah. Right. Have somebody who's there. No, actually, he was out of bounds. No, actually, he was in bounds. Oh, no, that was actually a catch. Oh, no, the ball hit the ground. Instant. Keep it moving.
This ain't hard.
Let's get it right. I'm sitting here. I'm just watching it on TV. I figured it out. Let's go. Because we don't even need challenges. We don't need that. We're going to have somebody who just gets it right. Now, if you think that the person who is the get it right guy got it wrong and you want to challenge it, maybe once a game you get that opportunity. But for the most part, it's let's keep the game going. Let's keep it moving here.
Got to go.
And let's get it right. Let's just get it right. And you'll know they may call a catch, and then the next thing they say, no, actually incomplete. We have a conference, incomplete. Or the guy just says, we got buzzed, no catch.
It just gets in the ear.
Right in the ear.
Sorry,
Hey.
Don. Doug, it's Don in the booth. Incomplete.
Incomplete.
Whoa,
Moving on.
got it wrong.
Moving on.
That's incomplete. 2nd and 10. Okay, here we go. No replay. Nobody needs to see it. We don't need to stare at jumbotrons. Boom. Next. Yeah, I'm a guess. Is the reason this hasn't been done is just the referees union? Like they're just.
Well, they
What's the
remember they were
pushback?
talking about it's a new official per crew. They compensate. Who knows?
We're worried
it doesn't
about
make
money?
any sense. That's what. Gibby, am I wrong? Isn't that what initially one of the things that they were saying about? I remember we talked to Mike Perea about it. He said this is a no-brainer. He said that was one of the things was training the guys and making sure they're ready to do this and yada yada. It's not that hard. I
Have
feel like
Pereira
you could
do it.
You could have anybody do it.
Pay him.
Have anybody do it.
Yes.
Anybody who's a
Have any of
football
them do it.
fan could do this job.
That's it. I mean, you could hire the league people, but you could get a buzz from the production truck. Like Pereira's sitting in the production truck.
He's there.
Yeah.
He's there, man.
No, got it right. Move on. Why are we looking at things we got right?
Right.
Let's
Confirm
keep it
them
moving.
Immediately.
Confirmed.
Confirm it.
Next.
Go.
Next.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer. You got to hire 30 people, big deal. Hire 30 people, make them full-time, make those people the officiating czars, pay them a nice salary. We just got a lot of money from the TV. Pay them a nice salary so they'll do good at it so that there's a standard, and institute it.
Right.
The end.
The end. Not hard. Not hard. I agree with you. Not hard.
No, not hard. So all three of these seem like no-brainers. There's not much really to debate in any of them. I suppose there's a traditionalist, that doesn't want to do the thing with the jerseys. But at the end of that, wouldn't that be about selling more jerseys too?
Correct.
You'd sell a lot more.
Correct.
You're going to sell a lot more. How many people, even as cool as linebackers are, that's tough sometimes to buy an LB jersey in the 50s.
Right. Unless it's
If that's a 6, that's a 5. Come on. It's easy. Get your questions in now. For us, it's Ask Us Anything on a Thursday edition of Ask CBD, hashtag AskCBD. Tweet them at Browns Daily. Obsessing over something like football can be a problem. If you're obsessing over gambling, it can be downright dangerous. So do something to take your mind off it, like find a hobby. You want more tips like this, go to keepitfunohio.com for great ways to keep gambling fun. I saw this somebody was making this comment that April, because you get the Final Four oftentimes in April, that April may be one of the great sports months with the Masters, the NFL draft, baseball opening day, the start of the playoffs in NBA and NHL, if you're into that, and I'm wondering, is it? They're all represented. You don't get football games, but you get the draft, which is remarkable. My hunch would be no. I would think it would be sometime in probably October, November, where everything's kind of going. You get the World Series. That would probably be the one for me that I would go to, where you have, the winter sports are going. You have the World Series. You have all of the football in full swing. That would probably be my vote for it.
Yes.
April's pretty good, though. April is pretty good.
Yes.
When you used to have
It's fine.
When you used to have MLB
It's good.
opening
It's better
day
than fine.
and the national championship game all
Yeah.
on the same day, that's one of the top days of the year.
No, I agree. I don't disagree. I think it's pretty strong, especially. I mean, when you talk about you got everything going, and you have the draft, which for a lot of people is as fun as the games. Not for us anymore because all we do is win. We're picking 26,
right, 26.
But like for the poor
no
saps
deal.
picking in the top 5, you're trying to chase quarterbacks. It's a chance to change a franchise.
Sure.
So I think that there's that adds a lot to it. Is the draft, the way that the NFL is represented there.
It's fine, but to me, you can't. It's not a preeminent time of year without the football. It just isn't.
So let's do what if we do a 3 on the Keep It Fun Ohio poll? Best sports month of the year.
Okay.
April would be one of them because we're in April. So we know what's there. We've gone over it. What month would we want to represent football?
I mean, if you still are a baseball fan, October, you've got baseball, basketball, and the football season all happening at once. So that's, I think, got to be a pretty solid month. I think January, because you have playoffs, NFL, and you get the tail end of the bowl games. You get the NCAA championship and New Year's Day bowl games.
I don't like January. I like where you're going there. The only thing about January is not everybody's playing.
Right. That's also true. That's why I said October. You've
You
got October. You have
games,
literally
and
everything.
You have a full slate every Saturday and Sunday with college and pro. No golf though, to speak of. Z.
Yeah.
You could go September.
September's pretty good.
You got Labor Day weekend,
well,
which is college football starting. The following week, you got NFL. When's Ryder Cup? If Ryder Cup happens, is that in September?
I think that's later. I want to say that's more like October for Ryder Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in that fall area. Could be September, could be October.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
Maybe it should just be 2.
Maybe just 2. October versus April. Showdown. What's the best sports
Give
month?
me October.
I'm with you.
Nobody's ever been called
Masters
Nobody's ever been
adds to
called
it.
Mr. April.
Maybe you
Mr.
could.
October.
You could. Masters. You could.
I don't think
How
there's
many
a Mr.
people in our
April.
audience know who that is?
Not many, probably.
You remember the old when
That's a
when
keep
they
it
would
fun
do,
poll.
Who is Mr.
Do you
October?
remember? Who is Mr. October? Do you know who Mr. October is? Yes or no?
Yes or no?
For the kids out there, without the Google, that's the old. You remember on SNL when they would have Carcinio, where it was like Johnny Carson trying to be Arsenio, and then Phil Hartman played Ed McMahon.
Yes.
Old reference lost on young viewers.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So good. All right, very good. All right, so that is your Keep It Fun. We'll do the 2 months. That's your Keep It Fun Ohio poll brought to you by Ohio Lottery. KeepItFunOhio.com. Coming up at 2 o'clock, Mock Draft Central. Todd McShay dropping one. This is an interesting one to get into a little bit here because it is post-free agency, and we will get into it coming up at the top of the hour. And then at the bottom of the hour, Ask CBD. Get those questions in. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily here on a Thursday edition of the program. Winter weather was devastating on your home. You know it. It means it's time right now for you to call the pros at Perfect Power Wash. Dirt, mold, algae, they all accumulated on the exterior of your home, and it leads to costly damages. PPW Safe Process professional techs help remove these contaminants to keep your house looking protected. Call the pros today. 888-860-WATCH. Save 10%. Take advantage of priority scheduling. You got to get in on this now. The whole process couldn't be easier. One call does it all. The professionals at PPW, they're going to provide you a free quote. They will schedule your service. So if you want a perfectly clean home this spring, call the pros, 866-860-WASH, or visit perfectpowerwash.com. Remember, the early bird gets the savings here, so call 888-860-WASH today. Use the promo code BEAU. Save 10%. I've used them. They are the best. Give them a call today. Save the 10% on that. Mock draft time. Todd McShay back at it, a 2-round mock. Lots of trades. Where do you sit on trades in your mocks?
I'm fine with it. I mean, trades happen. I think that it's probably easier to just go through what's actually out there and what's realistic, right? That seems to be a little bit easier to me to deal with because you don't know what trades are going to happen. So here's the order. By the way, lots of trades have already happened. So once they happen, then they'll go ahead and put them in there. The Niners are now picking third. Oh, okay. All right. I'll add that into my mock.
Yeah, it is. And it seems like if anyone – well, what did you make of – before we get to our pick and everything, what did you make of the pro days for LSU and Florida, specifically Pitts and Chase?
I think Pitts, and I went and said this, I think Pitts is the best non-quarterback in this draft. And I was even talking on Monday, if I'm the Niners and I can call up my buddy Robert Saleh and I say, here, let me just, I'm not going to give you anything really, but, I'll throw you, a bag of balls over here. You throw me Sam Darnold. I'm going to draft Kyle Pitts at number 3. And I'm going to groom Sam Darnold in my system because I believe in his talent. I liked him coming out of college. This is all hypothetical about whether or not they like Sam Darnold.
Sure.
But let's go ahead and assume for a second that they did, that they liked Sam Darnold. And they're saying to themselves, let's get Sam Darnold. And how about running my offense with Kittle and Pitts and Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel? You stopping that offense? Is that offense stoppable? Can anybody match up with that offense?
I mean, boy, it's a lot. I mean, the matchups at the tight end thing would be impossible. Would be very, very difficult. I mean, Kuiper said he's the best tight end he's ever scouted.
Yeah, and I think tight end is becoming the most valuable position in the game. I mean, that's where we're at. That great tight ends change matchups and dynamics more than any other position. I'll tell you where I don't want him to go. I don't want him going to Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is in a position, I realize that, we need to protect our quarterback. You're right. That is critically important. But you're talking about staring down the ability to give either Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts, and Pitts to me would be the scarier one. But if all of a sudden they're lining up Higgins, Boyd, Pitts, Mixon, that feels rather formidable to me. That feels quite formidable.
And I think the big and I'm with you on Pitts. Even though I love Chase, love him, and he was better than Jefferson was at LSU. He was a more highly regarded receiver at LSU when they all played with Joe Burrow when they were there. He was over Jefferson. But here's the thing that's tricky. Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, these receivers at the top. Like Rashad Bateman ran 4.39 at 6'3". Is there an enormous difference? Is there an by the way, and he's a stud.
But
he's
these pro day times is the fastest rookie class ever.
I agreed. Right, it's fastest class ever. I agree. But is there a tremendous difference if you are the Miami Dolphins at 6 between Devontae Smith and Rashard Bateman? I don't know. Is there an enormous difference between Devontae Smith and Rondale Moore or Tutu Atwell? I don't know. It's even if we say that Smith and Chase are better, which I think we all can say they are, and Waddle's probably better, is it as demonstratively better as it is with Pitts and the next tight end.
No, that's why Pitts to me it's a no-brainer.
That's why Pitts is the guy.
It's a
Pitts is
no-brainer.
the guy. Yeah.
I think that he will be. He is the most dominant player in this draft class, and I.
Yeah, and there's no other tight end like him.
Listen, I don't know if we were talking about it. Were we on air? Were we talking about that the Jets sent out their season ticket stuff and it's got Darnold on it? Maybe the Jets are just messing around.
Maybe we were off air. Were we on or off?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think it may have been off. But let's just say the Jets were messing around with this whole thing, and that the reason the Niners never called the Jets is because the Jets are keeping Darnold. Saleh likes Darnold. He was with Kyle. Maybe Kyle liked Darnold and convinced him, hey, you can win with Sam Darnold. We just put him out on our season ticket thing. Maybe the Jets are taking Kyle Pitts, and that's why the Niners went to 3 because they wanted Zach Wilson, and they know he's actually going to be there.
Could be. Could very well be.
Like maybe they're just thinking, hey,
I like him.
Let's get Gase out of town. Check. All right, Gase is out of town. Let's get him out of here, and let's go ahead and bring Kyle Pitts in for Darnold. We just added Corey Davis for Darnold, so now we've got Corey Davis, we got Pitts, we got some things that we can work with here, and we believe in our young quarterback.
I'm going to tell you what, I like that better than drafted Zach Wilson.
Kyle Pitts, I think, is as sure a thing as there is possible in this draft.
Lawrence is that, too.
He's not even in the question. The draft starts at 2.
Yeah, right. I think Chase is a sure thing too. I think he's basically Steve Smith, and I heard Ryan Clark say that as well. I thought that was a great analogy that Jamar Chase is basically Steve Smith. So that's really good. All right,
good.
so then McShay has a lot of trades in this. He has the Dolphins going up for Devontae Smith. He's got the Panthers going up and getting Trey Lance at 7. Justin Fields has been the talk of the NFL for the last couple of days. He has the Patriots going up to the Giants at 11 and drafting Justin Fields number 11. That would be a fascinating thing to see him there. We stay at 26, and a guy that we've talked about but is all over the draft board, Gregory Rousseau. He sat out last year at Miami, and he falls to us in McShay's mock at number 26. He's one of those guys. Gregory Rousseau is one of those guys. It's not quite Micah Parsons, but close. Like, I've seen him as high as like 13 and now at 26. So it just depends on where the draft goes here. This is one of the lowest I've seen him, though.
And I've seen Ledyard, I believe it was John Ledyard, did his annual rankings of edge rushers, and he's got like a 4th-round grade on Rousseau.
Does he really?
Yeah, there are opinions all over the map on Gregory Rousseau, which is one of those things that's what makes all of this so fun, right? It makes it all so interesting, and nobody really knows. We don't know what's actually going on. Gregory Rousseau, I'll tell you where I am right now. I'm in the camp of let's bring Clowney in.
Yep.
And let's get a corner at 26.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. And the guy that I like now in this draft, Asante Samuel Jr. would be somebody. Maybe you move back. Maybe you move out of that first round and you go get him. I like Jalen Phillips better than Rousseau. From talking to people, the question are his medicals. Do you believe in the medicals there? But look at the corners now. Newsome goes 22nd. Newsome wasn't going before we were picking earlier. Caleb Farley, 18 to Arizona. Where's he got J.C. Horn at? He must have J.C. Horn 10, Patrick Surtain 9. So the corners have just jumped up pretty quickly. And so the other guy that I'd be curious if the Browns feel, and when we get some of these draft experts on that I want to know, is Azeez Ojulari
Get out of Georgia.
Yeah. Is he able to play end in our scheme? And if the answer is yes, I love that guy. I think he and Jalen Phillips, from some of the reading that I've been doing, just from what they bring to the table, seem to be the highest ceiling guys if we're going defensive end. I like these corners, but it sounds like people feel the top 4 corners ends with Newsome. It's Farley, it's Surtain, Farley, J.C. Horn, and Newsome. If those 4 guys are gone, then what are we doing? Do you take defense? Do you move out of the first round? Do you move out of the first round into the early second, where you and pick up some more assets? These are the questions that Andrew Berry and team are going to be wrestling with, I think.
McShay has us addressing corner in the second round with Tyson Campbell, the corner out of Georgia. He writes, Campbell has some serious speed, is aggressive against the run, but the ball skills will take some developing. He is versatile, which works for Cleveland after it signs Troy Hill to play opposite Denzel Ward, which that's not necessarily true.
Correct, right.
A nickel, so that's not the way that is. But nevertheless does have us identifying a corner in that second round.
So it feels like that's a shift from him and from many about what we are looking for earlier in this draft to edge and to corner, which is where we've settled on. And I do think there's a wide receiver style wild card. He's got Tutu Atwell going 33 to Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. Zaven Collins goes 32 to Tampa, which, I mean, are they playing three linebackers with Collins, with Levante David, and Devin Bush? Are they going to be the first, the only true base team in the NFL at this point? I don't know. But this is fun stuff. And I'm set on, and I've seen a lot of it now, Terrence Marshall, who I think is very, very good. Terrence Marshall to the Ravens. I honestly feel fine with them taking a receiver in the first round. They've done it before with Hollywood Brown. They just don't have an offense, and it's never going to be one that all of a sudden turns into an aerial assault. And so if they want a first-round asset to me on it, that is a little bit of a waste, whereas if they were to grab, in this case, and he's on the board, Jalen Phillips or Azeez Ojulari at 27, that I wouldn't be as keen on. I wouldn't like that as much.
No. And I think, again, at receiver, Terrence Marshall was a really good player at LSU. You mentioned Tutu Atwell. Rashad Bateman is a stud.
Yep.
And he's a big dude. He ran 4.39. Now, whether that's legit or not, but he's a 4.4 guy, and he's 6'2", he's a big guy. I mean, he's not. He'd be different too. He would, and I'm not suggesting that this isn't scores. I'm just saying from the position of a guy who has traits that our guys don't necessarily have.
Yep.
He would provide the size and speed that we don't have at the position if he is somebody that falls. And I just think there's a lot of really good receivers in this draft beyond the guys in the top 10. I think there's a ton of them, a ton of playmakers that are ready to go right away at receiver. And I wouldn't be surprised if we found somebody with an elite trait at the end of the first, end of the second, and I think even at the end of the first. If somebody at a position you don't need but has elite traits falls to you, you scoop him up.
Yes.
And you sort things out. Like, just for example, we use Micah Parsons isn't getting to 26. But let's say he did. If something like that happened, I think you pounce on it.
You've got to really,
right?
really
Everything other than
think
running
about
back
it.
and quarterback, you would have to think about it. If you're in a position where your roster is good and you don't need anything per se. So it's a tremendous position of strength, and it'll be fun. We're a month from today, right?
Yeah.
NFL draft?
A month from
today here?
Yeah, first round. That's right. Right
wow.
here. Right
Incredible.
here in Atlanta, Cleve.
There you go. Going to be very, very fun. Get your questions in now for us. A little Ask CBD. Tweet them to @Browns_daily and use the hashtag AskCBD. Pretty wild day in the sports universe as well. We will go over all of that coming up, and then the Ask CBD. So a pure joy last 45 minutes of the program for the kids. So much fun to be had. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Boy, this is I got one for you. The news today, a couple of things on this. You saw the news that Roy Williams is retiring from North Carolina, I assume, my friend?
Yeah, is that real or April Fool's?
Okay, so that's the first thing. It's real, right? So it is real. It took me about 30 minutes this morning before I even mentioned anything about it because I wanted to verify it 65 times.
Right.
So herein lies my first question. If you're the University of North Carolina and the second best coach in the history of your program, who, by the way, won more championships than Dean Smith while he was there, if that guy wants to retire, don't you just do it yesterday or tomorrow?
Yeah, you don't do it on April. You don't do it on April Fool's. You just don't. That's not a time to release serious news. Is not released on April Fool's. No. I think that's
correct.
I think it kind of goes without saying, right? I mean, it seems like Captain Obvious.
It's North Carolina. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah,
morons.
Okay, number 2.
Not like the Duke.
How old do you think Mike Krzyzewski is? Without Googling.
75.
Yep, 74.
Oh, wow.
He is 74 years old.
Jeez.
Jim Boeheim is 76.
And I would have thought he was like 86.
Yeah. That's how long those jobs. So now the Carolina job's open. I have another question for you on that front. But Krzyzewski's can't have much left. He's 74. Boeheim's 76. Izzo's got to be getting close to that age. You're talking about some of the best jobs in the country are all going to be open potentially around the same time, within a year or two of each other. So that's an interesting thing. Now let me pose this to you. Is North Carolina basketball the best basketball job in the country, regardless of classification?
I probably would have said yes a few years ago, but and maybe it's just because I'm not as in touch with college basketball as I used to be. But have they won recently?
Yeah, they won a national title like 4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
2017, I believe.
Okay. And before that, was it a little bit of a drought?
Oh, no. He's won 3 since he's been there. He's been there 20 years, and he's won 3.
Okay.
He won 2, like 04 and 07 or
05.
something.
Yeah, he won like 04, 05 with like Sean May and McCants, and then he won with Tyler Hansborough, and then he won in, I want to say, 17. So he's won 3 of them at Carolina, and they've been good the whole time. Pretty much, even despite one and done and all of it.
Yeah, what I would say is then probably, yeah. I mean, it's North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas.
I think I'm saying even more than NBA, because in the NBA, you have say of nothing. Frank Vogel is coaching the Lakers.
Yes.
Ty Lue won a championship. How many people even know that Nash is coaching the Nets right now? Can you name me the guy who's coaching the Bucks? It matters. You have no control. Yeah, you don't control your team. You don't control your roster. You're not going to make as much in many instances.
No, from that
standpoint, you go be the coach
maybe.
At Carolina, you have complete control of your roster. You recruit the guys you want. It's going to get better because one and done is going away, and you're going to be able to recruit kids. You're not going to have to go in the seedy business with all that.
Sure.
Because those guys are going straight to pros. You're going to recruit guys who are going to be there 3 and 4 years, guys who want to be there.
Sure.
You can make as much money as anywhere. Calipari makes $11 million. Krzyzewski makes $11 or $12 million at Kentucky.
Yeah, I was going to say
you're your own boss. You don't have to answer to LeBron.
From that standpoint, in that case, then I would say, yeah, it might be.
I think it is.
I might be. Beautiful colors.
I think it is. I think it's the best one. What do you think, Gibby? Is it? I know you love the Dukies, but the problem with Duke is I don't know if it's Duke or is it Coach K.
Coach K is Duke.
He is.
Coach K
that's
put
what
Duke
I
on the
think.
map. So
can the next guy do that? Where Carolina's won with multiple coaches now, Kentucky's won with a bunch of different coaches. I think Kentucky and Carolina are the two that come to mind to me that are the two best.
Kentucky and UCLA still has
they
that
just haven't
name.
won much.
They haven't won much, but they still have that name, and there's still
Plus
that
you're
aura
Westwood
around things.
Yeah, I think it's Carolina.
I refuse to acknowledge that. I will go anybody else.
You would. Is this all right? Here's the next one for you guys on this front before we get to the Ask CBD. How can you start a regional final at 9:57 Eastern on a Monday and Tuesday night. Any night for that matter, but on a Monday and Tuesday night, how can you start a regional final at 9:57?
It is the worst. I've spent much time lamenting this schedule and the absurdity of it. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Turner wants it, I guess. Is there something that says you can charge more for ads at 11:30 Eastern at night than you can at 9:30 Eastern at night?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. It was awful. It was awful.
I am done. I am done with the tournament if you keep doing these weeknight BS games.
9:57 on a regional final, Gibby. That can't happen.
No.
You can't have teams. You can't have Michigan. That was a good game. Michigan UCLA. You can't have that ending at 12:05 like it did. It's impossible.
Yep.
It's impossible.
Impossible.
Did you guys see what they did to Oregon State?
They kicked him out of the hotel.
Oh, at 1:15 in the morning. Oregon State lost in a regional final. Their game ended, I think their game ended like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something like that. They were in the early window. At 1:15 that night, at 1:15 in the morning, they said, get out, get your stuff. You're on a flight to Corvallis.
Why did they do that?
I am not a geography whiz. Actually, I am. But I'm guessing it's a little far from Indy to Oregon.
Yes. Yes.
Even on a charter.
Did they know they were getting
4.5.
I mean,
no.
See,
even still.
Why did they do that to them?
Can't they check out at 10 o'clock?
But like that's the NCAA tournament has always been like, if you lose, you're home by the evening, or you're home late at night. That being said, if you got eliminated at 8 o'clock at night, you can't get them on a plane before 1 a.m. Really? It's a private plane. It's a charter.
Yeah. So they're doing it under the guise of they wanted to eliminate the COVID risk, is what they're saying it is. It's insane. It's insane. They have not had a good month. Supreme Court spanked them pretty good yesterday as well. Could be the last legs for the NCAA. From the absolutely ridiculous to the sublime. Ask CBD coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If your game plan for this season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. Time for a little pure joy on a snow-kissed Thursday edition of Ask CBD.
Yes.
Oh, hello, Gibby.
Greetings and salutations, gentlemen. It's Thursday.
Good to see you, buddy.
One day away from the weekend. Bishop's worked 48 hours, and then he'll be off again for 2 days. Good job.
That's right.
That's well played.
Deserved. Yeah.
Yes.
I split it this year.
What did
I
you get for your birthday?
Too short. Nothing.
Nothing?
No. What do I
find this hard to believe.
I'm also, honestly, impossible. I'm impossible to buy for. I mean, the blonde.
You've got it all. What do you need? You need nothing.
What do I need? Yeah. It's got some great gifts for the boys. They did a nice job. So it's a good job out of them.
Did you get some nice cards, some homemade cards from the kids with some real heartfelt messages?
Love the homemade cards. So Bootsy, with a straight face, tells people when you open a card that he made it. Like even if it's from, let's say, American Greetings, he says that he made it in his card shop, in his room, and in this card shop he has a pool and a hot tubs in the pool in the card shop in his room. And he, with a straight face, tells everybody that he has a card shop factory.
Living his best life, man. I mean,
he's got a card shop factory.
Card shop factory.
What doesn't he have? His greatness is pretty much at this point, it knows no bounds.
How was this year's card?
Permeates.
From the card shop.
Spectacular. I mean, he had a lot of high-end printing on it, it seems. He's got some new printing presses, apparently, there. They're really impressive. Can really do some nice work.
I like where
the
it's
homemade
at.
ones, as you guys know, are the best. I mean, those are the best. When you get the kids say what the, I'm lucky. Beautiful, loving wife, awesome little dudes. Good to be me.
Great to be you.
Do you have a dinner? Do you at least get like a meal? Is there a meal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, so I do all the cooking. So we went out to dinner club. It was great. Had a little brunch. That was wonderful. No, it was great. It was good.
All right.
I'm not a big birthday guy anyway. I like low-key in that stuff. I'm not a big –
Well,
I was never – people always wanted to throw me parties. No, I didn't. No, I don't want that. Don't give me a surprise. I don't want to see a bunch of dopes.
No.
Keep it small. I don't need it. No.
I told my wife I would divorce her if she threw me a surprise 40th. I go, do not.
I'm the same.
Do not do that. I don't need. Save the money. Let's go somewhere fun. Let's go travel.
Let's
go on vacation.
Right. None. Meantime, Z, I guarantee you're the biggest. You got to love a party. Do you love a party?
He's a July guy.
I enjoy a party. I don't necessarily like.
I know the world celebrates.
I don't really necessarily like a party for me. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
right.
That's right.
I like to be an attendee at a party. More so.
Well, you know what? My side hustle I want to do with you.
No, my mom, by the way, is really, she loves that. She thinks that should be happening.
Great. We could make a lot of money on that. We could really get into, I don't know why I need to be involved, but I think it would be tremendous.
Hey, I'm in. Let's go.
Just you showing up at parties.
Just coming and ready to party. Let's go.
Just keep it up. Be a hype man. Keep everybody happy.
Hey.
That's right.
Let's go.
All right, boys. Speaking of let's go, let's get into
this mailbag. There's so much good stuff in here.
I've got one page of like football, but fun, and then football. So we'll go back and forth. I'll go back and forth on this.
All right.
Nick, give me a little traveling music. Ryan Black tweets at the show, as you can do if you're listening right now, at Browns_daily using the hashtag AskCBD. It's time to ask you guys anything. From Ryan Black, which one of our division matchups do you look forward to the most this year? I'm going to modify the question and say just what opponent do you look forward to playing this year? Also, what is your favorite vacation destination in the U.S.? Bishop, it's your birthday week. You go first, Trigger.
Yeah.
My favorite destination in the United States is watercolor. Down in Florida. I absolutely adore it. I do like the desert as well, but that would be. I like how quickly I can get to watercolor. So that would be that. In terms of opponents, I mean, you open it up. I was just going to go division. Now I just want to take a look and make sure
You
I
could go
haven't looked at
division
this
if
in
you
a
just
long
want to
time.
stay division. That's fine.
I mean, we play at Kansas City. I mean, that's the answer. I mean, that's at Green Bay. We play two awesome. At Green Bay, at Kansas City are awesome. And then Ravens, because they're worthy adversaries.
Yeah, I was immediately going to say the Ravens, and the reason I was going to say that is because the Ravens, we didn't beat the Ravens last year. And so I would like to do that. I would like to beat the Ravens, and I think that that's our main competition in the division. So that's the one that I'm looking forward to the most from a divisional standpoint. And then, as you said, the games that we've got, at the Chiefs, at the Packers, at the Patriots,
Arizona
at
coming
the
here?
Chargers, L.A.
Oh,
That's
L.A.
That's gonna be a nice one there. So I'm excited about that. And then my favorite travel destination in the U.S. I think we all know the answer to this.
Yeah.
Scottsdale,
Desert.
baby.
That's
Scottsdale, Tucson, the corridor, Dove Mountain in between, Paradise Valley. Get even a little north if you want. If you're feeling frisky, it's fine.
All right. Mark tweets at the show before you get a little risque on here. What do you expect from Weaver? Where would he rank in this year's defensive end class? Probably a question more for Zegura.
No, I would say number one, and I expect Lawrence Taylor. Go ahead, Z.
Bo.
This is the myth. The myth of Curtis Weaver. Where would he rank in this year's draft class? Look,
Number one overall ahead of Trevor Lawrence, and he would be Lawrence Taylor.
Hot takes.
Go ahead.
Hot takes.
I didn't
he
mean to
was
step on
in
your
a
takes, Z.
draft
I know you were.
just a year ago. Okay, and he went in the 5th round. Now, there were some concerns about his size at that point, which is one of the reasons why he did go in the 5th round, but he's incredibly productive. And again, when I talk about the people in this building and what they have said about him, is that he has taken this year to really, really remake, reshape, tone, bulk up his body. So the reason he went in the 5th round, he doesn't have ideal height. He's 6'2", length, his 32-inch arms, has not been great against the run, but the pro comparison for his skill set, and this is from the Draft Network and Bleacher Report, is Carl Lawson. And so what could he be? A sub-package pass rusher that ends up being, better than what you were expecting when you did it. So I think that's the hope for him. That's what you're looking for. That's what you want.
All right. We move on Ask CBD. Fun one here, kids. And I was going to save it for later, but I'm like, I want to have time. Really time to dissect this. This is from Casey K.
Okay.
Rank the following movies.
Yes.
Lebowski, Caddyshack,
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
I got-
Animal House,
Gosh.
and The Jerk. They're shooting the cans.
So
That's the order.
all 4 are pantheonish.
He has the order.
What did he say first?
Lebowski.
Lebowski's
Oh, no.
one.
No,
No.
no. And Lebowski is going to be a strong 2 for me. But Caddyshack is 1. Caddyshack's,
I like Lebowski more than Caddyshack.
I would not have had that in a billion years. You're a good
do.
man
I
and
like it
thorough,
more.
but I would not
Thorough.
have had that in a billion years. I go Caddyshack 1.
I don't know if I can rewatch Caddyshack in its entirety. Like I love the pieces of it, but I don't know. Like if I was looking in the guide and it was on at 8:00, I don't know that I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm in for this.
But
Whereas,
are you aware?
For sure, I'd be in. I would be in for Lebowski. Again, I have Caddyshack a strong 2, Animal House 3, and The Jerk 4.
Same.
But it's not to me. I prefer Lebowski to Caddyshack.
What I'd like you to know
Yep.
is that I have a tradition. Every year on my
Yep.
birthday, the final thing that I do on my day of my birthday is I watch Caddyshack every night as I'm
Okay.
going to bed. That is my every year on my birthday. It's my
That's
favorite. It's my
Yep.
favorite comedy of all time. I think it is. I've read all the books about it. I've seen.
Yeah.
I know everything there is to know about the making of it, the insanity that transpired on set.
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
Some of those are great.
The fact that Judge Smales was furious with the antics going
Hijinks?
on and the hijinks, and that they wanted people to ad-lib their lines. He was not into ad-libbing his lines. I love Caddyshack. Caddyshack is 1. 2, Lebowski. Jerk's a great movie, too. I mean, Jerk's fantastic, but Animal House is
I
going to be
haven't seen it in a long time, but I would have
Jerk.
Animal House ahead of it. Yeah.
Those are 4 great movies.
I have Animal House number 1.
Wow.
I have Caddyshack 2 and Lebowski 3.
Animal House number 1.
I love Lebowski.
They're all
They're right there.
from comedy standpoint. They're all just.
They're juggernauts.
And from a quotable standpoint, you're talking about some of the most quoted movies. The first 3, the most quoted movies, in pop culture ever.
Yes.
All right. Up next, serious question. John McManus, what do you believe would have a bigger impact on this year's Browns team with the first-round pick? An edge rusher or a wide receiver? #AskCBD.
This year's Browns?
This year's Browns.
I would say, given the current construction of the roster, edge rusher would have the biggest impact on the 2021 Browns. But if you're going down the line, you do have to think about succession planning at the wide receiver position. And so I think long-term, perhaps that person might have the potential to have a bigger impact for the Browns.
I think the beauty of what Andrew Berry has done is that you don't have to be – your primary worry with this draft pick at 26 doesn't have to be how much can you help us in 2021, which is a remarkable thing.
Yes.
If there's somebody with a better ceiling, higher ceiling at a position that's not necessarily of need – what's his name, John? This is how the good teams do it. This is how the good teams do it.
Gabe Warner tweets at the show, as he has done in the past. I loved Uncle Beau's tequila and lemonade vitamin water by the pool last summer. What's each of your cocktails of choice for pool sitting this summer? Do the cocktails change? Do they need to change?
There's several. No, I mean, there's several that are good summer cocktails. I gave you the Uncle Stan last year, which is the tequila, lemonade, vitamin water, a little bit of salt. That's tremendous. Replenishes the fluids. I've given you the Dark and Stormy, which is a really fun one with ginger beer and a dark rum that is very, very good, and some heavy lime squeeze on that one. I don't think you can ever do wrong with a Bloody Mary, even in the summer, although that's more for morning rather than in the evening. I do like a bloody beer. I think all of those things work. I don't like the pina colada world like that.
No.
I don't like any of that. I like a tequila-based summer cocktail is where my head is.
So I like, obviously, I mean, I found this habanero margarita mix online that
this is interesting.
I've really enjoyed it. So I like to make myself in a shaker, obviously, a nice little margarita right out of the shaker, shaking with some jalapenos, some fresh lime, just that and a little bit of this mix, it's a real treat, this habanero margarita mix. That I obviously love. John Daly to me is a quintessential drink of the summer after you've had a nice round of golf.
Now, is that just lemonade, or is that an Arnold Palmer with the vodka?
Correct. Yes, it is an Arnold Palmer with the vodka. It makes it a John Daly. So those,
because I've had that with bourbon too. I've had the Arnold Palmer with bourbon before as well. That people go that, but bourbon's a tough sell for me in the summer.
And tequila,
especially outside.
You can have it with tequila as well, which is good. And then my one of my great summer drinks it's not for everybody, but one of my great summer drinks is a Diet Sunkist and vodka with a fresh jalapeno muddled into it, and you just sit by the pool. There's nothing like an orange soda. Orange soda was
in the hell is drinking Diet Sunkist.
Me, because I'm not trying to get those calories, bro. But I love the flavor of a nice orange soda.
My in-laws always have Diet Sunkist in the room.
Are you kidding me?
The bar fridge.
The Diet,
I swear to you, they always have it in the bar fridge.
Diet Crush is better, but it's harder to find. The Diet Crush, I think, has a little bit of a better flavor to it.
Diet.
I'm surprised you added the habanero to that. That doesn't seem like that would be a flavor that would mix.
Yeah, a little
the
heat.
Orange with the habanero.
Well, they go together. Habanero has a nice little orange flavor to it. Sometimes I'll do jalapeno, but when I can get fresh habanero, I get a fresh habanero in there. Because that gets a nice heat, and it has a natural orange flavor, maybe because it is orange. I don't know.
Great. Have a nice Diet Sunkist.
Why are you making fun of me?
Because I drink regular Sunkist. Because it's not like the calories are that crazy.
I don't drink sodas, bro.
I don't drink Pepsi or Coke.
You know what happens in those sodas?
Why are you making fun of me?
Yeah, nothing good.
Diet Sunkist. It's like my parents when they used
Why
to
do I
drink.
want the calories?
My parents went through a phase where they would
I'm
drink.
at the pool.
Hold on.
My
They were-
shirt's off. My 3.5 pack is showing. Why am I trying to get the calories?
I know.
Give me 0 calories.
Then you'll tell everybody what a great swimmer you were, and then you'll get in the water and do the breaststroke, and it'll be
Elite.
impressive to everybody.
I was elite.
Elite swimmer.
All right.
I have a
great.
record that still stands. 625-yard freestyle.
No,
Peaked early. No big deal.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Good for you. Thomas Kowalski tweets at the show. It's like my parents went through a phase where they drank caffeine-free Diet Pepsi. I'm like, or you could drink water.
Listen, the best.
You could drink water, and that's the same thing.
Let me tell you something. The best in the history of Diet Orange sodas was when they had Fanta Zero. When Coke Zero and they expanded to Fanta Zero.
Dumbest thing
It
ever. And you know
was-
where's Fanta Zero now?
I don't know. You can't get. You
I
can only
tell
get
you
it down
where
in
it is.
Florida.
Landfill.
Usually in Florida you can find it. But boy, it tasted like the real thing. There's no doubt you're sacrificing some flavor with a Diet Crush or a Diet Sunkiss.
Yes.
But you're also
dumbest
staying
thing
leaning
ever.
on
Yeah.
the scene, Gibbe. You know,
The dumbest
Trade-offs.
Keep it out there. Give
Trade-offs.
the people what they want.
trade-offs.
You're right. You know what it is? Just me hanging out and drinking with them. That's what they want. Thomas Kowalski tweets at the show. With the personnel we have now in the back end, will we see Joe Woods blitz with corners and safeties a lot more this coming year?
We did quite a bit of that last year,
Blitzes are going to come from everywhere.
but they're going to be coming
from
all
everywhere.
over the place. One of the things
Versatility. Everybody looks the same.
and they like Anthony Walker's blitz ability. It's Sione Takitaki's blitz ability. So I think we're going to see, as Beau just pointed out, I think we're going to see blitzes coming from everywhere.
All right, kids. That's it for this week.
All right, there you go. A little bit of everything for you, people. Give you what you want. Still so much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, here's your update on your Ohio Lottery Keep It Fun Ohio poll. 87% October, as predicted. I mean, I think we all acknowledge October's where it's at. October, the best sports month. I'm curious if April is second or if it would be another fall month. Like, would it be September or would it be November? It probably would be those.
Or even get
we
January.
live in
it could be. Yeah,
the
definitely.
sport birthed from our loins.
That's right. That's what you're gonna get. That's what you get.
Yeah.
So
sport birthed from our loins.
I got
Go
little.
Ahead. Oh, by the way, the Indians top 5 down 3-0 to the Tigers.
Oh boy. Good thing there's 161 more games.
28-degree Detroit.
Good thing there's 161
really get
more
worried
of
about
those.
this.
Right.
Right.
Guys, I got a question. I got some strange news from my doctor the other day.
Interesting.
Apparently, I've got something in my shoulder, and you know how much I love the game of golf. And my
Sure.
doctor told me I now need to tee the ball up everywhere. So if I'm 100 yards out in the middle of the fairway, he wants me to put it on a tee. And my question is, like, should I just give up the game at this point? I mean, is that golf
play
anymore?
off the tee. Sure.
So I have to chip it off a tee, you're saying?
I thought this happened to you.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying, yeah, you do this, but I don't know if I can do that. I don't know.
It's very sad.
It's very sad.
You listen to the doctor.
No.
If
I
you're
think I'm
taking a
risking
full
it.
swing.
No risk it, no biscuit.
I think you listen to the doctors in this thing. I think you listen to them. And I think what you do is especially if in your case, as you've had some injections, I think that you listen to him very carefully. You do what he says.
I think you stop drinking Diet Sunkist.
Woo! No calories.
Could be that too.
Maybe that's your problem.
Maybe that is. I'm going to be drinking Diet Sunkist, teeing up my sand wedge from 115 for you, Gibby. That's what I'm going to be doing.
I'm going to turn and hit right into
That's what I'm going to do. Hold, please.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
4 on the range.
Set it down.
Quiet.
I like it.
I like it.
I like where your head's at.
I like it. There are clear tees, though, that you can get now that are called invisible tees. So, maybe I'll use the invisible tee, and then nobody will be. They'll be none the wiser.
So much more information on this.
They'll be none the wiser.
No one will even know.
Yeah.
No one will know.
How can you see it if it's invisible?
Nothing to see, man. Never know. All right, next level coming up. Next, we're back tomorrow, we hope.